it started with breakfast, and I was going over to the Arizona at 8:30 to meet my friend Bob, and Bobby, his name is. He named a school for him down in Texas now, but I never got there. I was changing clothes to whites and getting my Liberty card squared away with the leading petty officer in my division, and it was going to go over about 8:30. But I got back from breakfast, was changing clothes, as I said, and all of a sudden, the klaxon came on, and the bugle came on, and the pipe came on, and the word was passed, all hands man your battle stations. This is not a drill. All the time up to then, we had many drills, and more drills, 10 times more before the war than we did during, because they're generally the real thing after the war. And I just could not, we couldn't fathom why would they say this is not a drill, because they'd always said all hands man your battle stations for drill purposes only. What are they having drills for Sunday morning for? Good Lord. So we didn't question it, though. We just grabbed your clothes, and if you didn't have them on already, got them on and left, went on the double to your battle station. My battle station was topside and control aft, which is the after control station for main battery stuff back there. And when I reached the quarterdeck on the starboard side, I came out on the deck, and our stern was facing subbase, and a lot of torpedo bombers were coming. That was their route to Battleship Row. We were probably, I don't know, maybe 1,200 yards from Battleship Row or something like that. I don't really know how far it was, but well, not very far. And they were coming very near our stern. And we, like a lot of people in the yard, did not have all our guns working because the work was being going on. Circuit breakers were all out of the anti-aircraft mounts, but the machine guns were available and so forth. But they worked them manually until they got them placed in that. I could see a lot of the planes because they're coming practically right over us. In fact, one of them dropped a bomb looking for the Honolulu, we were tied to the Honolulu, and she was tied to the pier. The bomb went between the Honolulu and the pier and exploded and knocked some plates loose on the Honolulu. She couldn't get underway because of this, But we weren't hurt. We felt the jar, but we didn't. I saw the plane drop it. You could see the people in those planes. They were so close. So by the time flies, when you're having fun, as they say, there was tremendous things to do. And we in the main battery couldn't do anything to fight with because couldn't use the main battery in shooting any aircraft. And we were cutting awnings down. They had awnings to provide shade on deck in the tropics always. And cutting those down. And after the captain decided we were going to get underway, they're cutting lines, breaking up the connections to the pier for steam and power and water, and so we can get underway. And he gave the order to engineers to get prepared to get underway. We did get underway, backed out of the slip very slowly, and proceeded, as I described, past 1010 dock and out and past the Nevada. And as we entered the channel, the exit from harbor, by that time I wasn't doing anything. I was in my station, but there were ports in there you could see out. And we were watching. Everybody could get a port. We were watching what's going on. And I was on the starboard side. And on the starboard side, that's the right-hand side, I saw a submarine sail, or their tower of small submarine. We'd never seen a midget submarine before. And I didn't know it was a midget submarine then. I just knew it looked like a submarine sitting out there. Probably another 1,500 yards or more. And torpedoes coming towards us. And they had us, we're in the channel. Where are we going to go? You can't get out of the channel. It's dredged out. And coral is what they dredged up and piled up under the water from that, but it wasn't visible on the surface. One of the torpedoes hit that coral and blew up. And they say and they claim that it blew the other torpedo up. All I know is that both of them blew up. And I did not see the water, but some people did say we got sprinkled rain from the water of the explosion. And we went on out. We were the first ship to get out under attack. And we got out, and as the day wore on, other people got out, and we were safely at sea by 1 or 1:30, waiting for people to come out and join us, so we could chase the Japanese fleet. We didn't know where it was, had no idea where it was. It had to come from the north, the northwest, or the southwest. And so we got rumors that a target was available and it was an aircraft carrier and so forth. Well, that's what we were looking for. It turned out to be one of our own carriers coming back from delivering planes to Midway or Wake. And so that was a false alarm. And then some destroyers came out. And I think we had 4 or 5 cruisers and more than that, destroyers in the force. But we chased around out there until Wednesday. I never saw anybody. I think we shot a few seagulls because, a gull that's coasting or just soaring looks a lot like an airplane a long ways afar. I know we shot at some of them, but I don't think we hit them. And we came back in on Wednesday, and after on Sunday when things tacked off and slowed down a bit, and we cleaned the decks because there was shell casings and everything and all kinds of stuff around the decks to get off. We had dropped our boats, we had dropped our booms as we left and dropped them in the harbor so they'd still be there. We didn't need them on the ship. Anything that would burn or splinter went over the side. And when we came back in, it was a very uneventful 3 days after that, after noon on Sunday. And we came back in, and there was a little smoldering going on in some of the burning ships that had burned. And there was a small craft back and forth in the channel, in the harbor, all over the harbor, picking up debris and bodies and what have you. And so we moored out further in the harbor, and we had to get new supplies of food, fuel, ammunition, and in our case, the F Division had been responsible for binoculars in their workstations that were used for lookouts. And so I went over. I was assigned by one of the petty officers who was trying to get things done to go up topside and get a boat and waiting to take me to the USS Vestal, which was a repair ship, had been tied up alongside the Arizona. A bomb hit her before the Arizona blew up, and she got underway, but the bomb went right through her, and she went aground over by Aiea Landing. And so that's where I had to go on boat to get our binoculars back for the stations that we were in. We didn't use them because the seamen had watchers, lookout boys up there, and we had other things to do, but they did that. So I got back to the ship with that, and everybody was working, all hands working party, getting all the supplies on board. We didn't know where we were going to go, when we were going to go, or if we were going to go, but we had to be ready. So we got ready, and I don't remember now what day we went out, but we made 2 fast round trips to San Francisco. And on Christmas Day, we wound up back in Honolulu. And Christmas Day, I have a copy of it. It's the day the captain wrote his formal report to headquarters. And we left, I don't know, we left Christmas, or no, we didn't leave Christmas. We left a day or two later, and we arrived in San Francisco the day before New Year's Eve. We had 2 nights in San Francisco, so everybody won liberty. And that was a good liberty. And we all were warned that we had to get underway. You had to be back at ship by midnight anytime you went ashore. So we made that, and then we and another ship headed to San Diego. Got to San Diego. There's 2 aircraft carriers there and a couple more cruisers. And we're off to make the very first attack against the Japanese. Now, a lot of folks think that Mr. General, what was his name? Yeager? Not Yeager, was it? What is his name? Anyhow, the Jimmy Doolittle, excuse me. Jimmy Doolittle's group of planes made the first attack against Japan. Well, against the Japanese islands they did, but they didn't make. We made the first one against Japanese, and it was on January 31st or February 1st. I've forgotten which. I think January 31st. The Marshall and Gilbert Islands. 2 aircraft carriers. One was the Enterprise, and I believe the other one was the Old Yorktown. I'm not positive. Might have been the Hornet. No, it couldn't have been the Hornet. She was that was it could have been the Hornet, but it was 2 of them, and the Enterprise was one of them. I know that, and 4 other cruisers beside ourselves, a few destroyers, and the necessary supply ships. And we went to Pango, and dropped off some things that they had to do there, and then we made that attack on the Marshall and Gilbert Islands. Very successful attack. I think we lost 3 or 4 planes. And then we went back to Pearl Harbor.